NAYA Biosciences is building a group of companies leveraging the next generation of biotechnologies to increase patient access to life-transforming treatments in oncology, fertility, and regenerative medicine. With me is Dr. Daniel Tepper, the chairman and the CEO, and Ari Zoltan, CEO of Quantum Media, joining me here and talking to the doctor. So NAYA Biosciences, headquartered in South Florida, which has been a growing hub for biotechnology. Explain what's happening in South Florida right now.
Well, Jen, it's good to be back in the NASDAQ studio. Yeah. So Florida has a legacy of actually very good sciences. University of Florida is ranking among the top public research universities in the country in terms of patents, in terms of publication. It recently acquired the Scripps Institute in Jupiter, making it even a more advanced hub. It's very renowned for genetic medicine and gene therapy in particular. And South Florida has, all of Florida, but South Florida in particular, has expanded with the relocation of a number of top scientists, top physicians from the Northeast, from the Midwest, from California, who are now at University of Miami, at Mount Sinai, at other hospitals. Cleveland Clinic has an arm in South Florida. So it's changed. And in addition to that, we've seen in the COVID years a number of investors, executives move to South Florida, not just for the winter, but as their primary residence. So essentially what you have in South Florida now is you have a mix of science and medicine, investors and executives locally. And that's the recipe that makes for a new hub for biotechnology. So South Florida is not yet Boston or San Francisco, but clearly I think the ambition of the people that are there is to be the pioneer of the next hub in biotech.
It certainly seems like the ecosystem is there to kind of foster that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Dr. Tepper, NAYA Biosciences uses a hub and spoke business model. What does that mean?
So essentially, there are a lot of very big companies, and there are a lot of very small companies. What we believe is that there's a need of consolidation of the smaller companies. And in the consolidation of the smaller companies, the hub and spoke is particularly appropriate because you can have a core management team that's very experienced, both in larger companies and as entrepreneurs. And then you can have the spokes, which essentially are very lean subsidiary, which are focused on specific product or specific therapeutic franchises.
How do you evaluate new business opportunities and decide where to focus your money and efforts?
So I would say, on the one hand, we're business people, we're entrepreneurs and investors. On the other hand, we're very much, I would say the majority of our teams have doctoral level science or medicine degrees. So we're very passionate about the science, and we're very passionate about the impact on the patients. So good science is the first screener. The second screener is what's the impact on patients. And the impact in patients is not only a significant clinical benefit, it's also how competitive we are. Because we see trends where you have 20 companies going in the same direction, and you say there's no room for 20 companies in that particular therapeutic area. So we always focus on clearly being the first in class or the best in class. And if we're not, we'll pass on the opportunity.
Interesting.
So let's talk artificial intelligence, Dr. Tepper. Where does NAYA play in that space?
Well, everybody is playing with artificial intelligence, or at least is talking about it. We're trying to find the soft spot where AI, machine learning has an impact. And for us, we're primarily clinical development and to some extent commercial. So we're looking at predictive models that allow us to maximize the effect of our products in clinical trials, allow it to accelerate those programs. So we have collaborations with academic institutions. We're also working in collaboration with some of the AI companies on new methodologies. So it's fully integrated into what NAYA is doing in development.
And NAYA is clearly an ambitious project. What has led to your success so far?
Really, it's the combination of people, access to capital, and execution. So we have a very strong team from the get-go, particularly at the board level and increasingly at the management. We're in the process of strengthening our capital position, and we're very disciplined in terms of execution.
And what are some of the challenges you see over the next 12 to 18 months for NAYA?
We have to make the right choices. And the right choices is which programs we support and what milestones we achieve. We're an acquisition and development company, so what we acquire is also very important to the success of the company. There's never any scenario where you don't make mistakes or you don't regret transaction, but at least if you fail, you have to fail fast. So I would say the challenge is to find the right mix of products and programs, is to make sure that we don't have isolated programs. You mentioned that we're in regenerative medicine, which we like to call more like genetic medicine. I think it's more accurate description. We're in oncology, immunology, we're in fertility. There's huge medical needs in each of those areas. But if you have one product in each of them, this is not so viable because you need expertise. So our goal is really to build leadership positions in very focused specialty franchises.
And leads me to the last question about management, if you could shed some light on your management team.
So we're very privileged that the management team, and starting with the board, are people that have known each other for many years and have significant accomplishments. One of our board members has been an investor and an entrepreneur in companies that today's are in cumulative are tens of billions of dollars. Others have started companies. Most of them are currently CEOs of public or private companies. They've been in big pharma, they've been in smaller private companies. So it's that mix of people that surround the management team at the board level. And when I say surround the management team, it is they do challenge us on a daily basis, but they're builders. So their goal is not just to criticize, it's to help us build a stronger, more successful company.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Tepper. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Ari.